Tonight, pervert on a plane?
Unfriendly skies for a female airline passenger.
Legitimate hit.
How can you tell if it's legitimate rape?
You really need to think about what you say before you say it, especially when you're running for Senate.
Delivery debacle.
My orders total $25,000, and if this is going to start off like this, I could just imagine what I'm in store for.
The news is now.
Hello, I'm Jody Applegate. Now your PIX 11 at 10. Too many explosives, too little attention to detail. The MTA thinks it knows why the 2nd Avenue accidentally exploded yesterday afternoon. Arthur Chen is live on the Upper East Side with details. Arthur?
Jody, we credit the MTA for coming right out and saying what they know about what happened out here yesterday. A little bit of an engineering 101. Usually their blasting is done vertically, easier to predict where that force is going to go, easier to know where to put a blasting cap on it. Well, yesterday they were blasting at a diagonal for an escalator that's going to go in at 72nd Street here. And not only was the blasting cap not properly anchored, apparently they guessed wrong on which way the force was going to go. Blasting is a daily part of the 2nd Avenue subway. What happened yesterday clearly cannot be. The MTA's president of Capital Construction today said the blast containment plates were not anchored at all and that crews miscalculated the direction the controlled explosion would go in.
The cover was supposed to absorb all of this pressure. It did not. The plate was an 1,800-pound plate. It was not anchored down at the edge. And this is a question that we're asking as well. I think they did not expect that blast to go in that direction.
There have been more than 70 blasts at this intersection alone at 72nd Street and 2nd Avenue, all without causing Tuesday's explosion, sending boulders into the air and across the street, smashing windows. A gift that there were no injuries.
I am not jumping and blaming anyone. I will say to you that the responsibility for blasting properly and making everything and all of the means and methods belong to the contractor.
And who's that?
There is a joint venture of Chavon Shea Kiwi.
The MTA today very blunt, saying the contractor SSK was in charge and apologizing to a neighborhood it acknowledges it has exasperated while trying to give them a new subway line.
I truly would like to apologize to the residents of the area that have been exposed to numerous problems throughout the construction of this project. And I pledge to them that we'll do our best for something like this not to occur again.
And there you have it. Work at this site has been halted until an official investigation is complete, but MTA officials say this does not affect their goal to finish this project by December 2016. We're live on the Upper East Side tonight. Arthur Chen, PIX 11 News. We now go out to Jay Dow in Newark Airport in New Jersey.
Well, Arthur, a suspect in a sexual abuse case in the air. The judge said it all when he described this as an incredibly troubling case because chances are we've all done it. You've gotten on a long flight and inevitably you end up falling asleep. But federal investigators say for one female passenger, that short nap turned into a nightmare. Federal investigators say thanks to this man, Bauer Oxal, a female passenger on board Monday's United Airlines Flight 306 from Phoenix to Newark, experienced anything but a comfortable and safe ride across the country. Oxal is accused of sexually abusing the woman, if you can believe it, while she was asleep. According to a federal criminal complaint, the 48-year-old Turkish national put his, quote, hands inside her shirt, touching her breast, and his other hand down her shorts. Prosecutors say when the woman woke up, Oxal, who was breathing heavy, whispered to the victim, "Kiss me." The woman, outraged, slammed the armrest down and got up to report the incident to a flight attendant. Prosecutors say Oxal, meanwhile, removed his hands, sat back in his seat, and closed his eyes. Oxal, who prosecutors say works in the hotel services and restaurant industry, was detained when the flight touched down in Newark. Prosecutors say under questioning, he admitted to touching his fellow passenger, but claims she forced his hand down her pants. Prosecutors pushed for Axel to be detained, arguing that he has no ties here in the United States. He owns a couple of properties that are underwater, but his family, his life is in Turkey. The judge in the case wants to hear more, so a bail hearing has been rescheduled for Monday. Because this happened in the air and not on the ground, the feds have the jurisdiction. And that means if convicted, Axel could spend the rest of his life in prison. We're live at Newark Liberty International Airport tonight. Jay Dow, PIX 11 News. Now let's send it back to Narmeen Chaudhry in the newsroom. Narmeen.
Jay, we've heard plenty of comments and reactions stemming from remarks made by U.S. Representative Todd Akin on rape and abortion. The opinions have come in fast and furious, but here's one that has gone viral.
How can you tell if it's legitimate rape?
It was the ultimate foot-in-mouth moment.
I'll tell you how to spot legitimate rape.
Todd Akin, a candidate for the U.S. Senate seat in Missouri, on television saying this about rape and abortion.
It seems to me, first of all, from what I understand from doctors, that's really rare. If it's a legitimate rape, the female body has ways to try to shut that whole thing down.
Since those comments, a firestorm of criticism from many directions, from politicians, commentators, men, women, and even this young aspiring actress and musician.
You're not sure if you got legitimate rape. Well, here's a little lesson for you. Tell me if the following things are true.
A West Virginia native, Taylor Ferreira, has been struggling to get discovered in the concrete jungle and wrote this little number after reading about Akin's comments all over the news.
It was pretty easy to make fun of the statements that were made.
And that she did, with a hint of sarcasm.
I was a little drunk, illegitimate rape. I knew the rapist 12, illegitimate rape.
Ferreira has written songs and posted them to YouTube before. This actually isn't even her first time tackling a political topic. But none have gained this kind of attention. Posted to YouTube just Tuesday morning, more than 24 hours later, the video has received more than 127,000 hits and climbing.
It's overwhelming in the best way possible.
With her song gaining popularity, Ferreira hopes it will also help get her message across.
It just can't be ignored. It's very telling that we in 2012 live in a society that someone who is a representative of, you know, the people of this country can have an opinion that's so grossly wrong.
My skirt was kind of short, illegitimate rape. I'm married to the man, that's a husband's privilege.
The exposure from this song has already opened doors for Ferreira, but she says you can fully expect more politically themed numbers from her. She has a feeling this won't be the last time we hear a politician flub their words. I'm Narmeen Chaudhry, PIX 11 News. Jody?
Thanks, Narmeen. And now to the latest from the PIX 11 news desk. A traffic officer is accused of date rape. Charles Taylor has been arrested and suspended without pay. He's 25 and she's 17. The teenager claims they went on a date in downtown Brooklyn and Taylor slipped a drug in her drink. He then drove her to his apartment in the Bronx where he allegedly raped her.
You're almost to a state of unconsciousness depending on the tolerance level that you might have, and you become more or less almost to the state of passing out.
They met a week ago and had been texting back and forth. Police say there is extensive security video that shows the officer with the teen. A 30-year-old officer is on desk duty after accidentally shooting a suspected homeless thief. Two transit officers spotted the suspect running from a restaurant. Witnesses say he had just snatched $40 from a person waiting to pay his bill. While one officer had him cuffed, the other holstered his pistol and one shot fired. 47-year-old Richard Pearson was hit in the leg. He's going to be okay. He has a long rap sheet and is suspected of robbing two women earlier that night. Can you imagine this in your eyes while trying to land a plane? In an incident similar to this one, investigators are trying to find the person who pointed laser beams at airplanes over JFK. First, a 737 flight from Iceland was hit with a beam while trying to land. Then a police helicopter dispatched to investigate the laser was also hit with beams. Two officers and a medical technician on the chopper were treated at the hospital. This isn't only stupid and dangerous, it's also a federal offense. So far, no arrests. Here's what's making news across the country and overseas. What's the difference between rape, legitimate rape, and forcible rape? Let's go back to the controversy surrounding Representative Todd Akin. Vice presidential hopeful Paul Ryan is facing questions about a bill that he co-sponsored with the embattled Missouri Republican. Turns out Akin and Paul Ryan once co-sponsored a bill that would have limited taxpayer funding for abortions. It said only victims of, quote, forcible rape should be covered. Pressed twice today, Ryan didn't want to explain.
What is forcible rape?
Rape is rape. Rape is rape, period. End of story.
We had 251 votes, 16 Democrats. I'm proud of my pro-life record.
As for Akin, he's still not quitting the Senate race. He says Ryan called him last night and asked him to drop out. Akin says today it makes him uncomfortable that GOP bosses are trying to dictate who runs as opposed to leaving that up to the voters.
How can you tell if it's legitimate rape? I'll tell you how to spot legitimate rape.
Tonight's Twitter question, what do you think of the controversy over, quote, legitimate rape? The issue, the debate it has sparked. This song. I'm at Jody Apple K. A first-hand account of the Navy SEAL mission that killed Osama bin Laden is coming out September 11th. The book is called No Easy Day by Mark Owen. Mark Owen is a pseudonym for the combat veteran who was one of the first to enter bin Laden's hideout. He witnessed the al-Qaeda leader's death. The book was written to, quote, set the record straight about last year's raid in Pakistan.
Okay, so this is me moving my foot.
She can still move it. Remember the college student with the pretzeled up ankle who most of you in our text poll thought was too annoying for television? Well, she's back and she's telling her story. Lexi DeForest was trapped on De Mountain in Wyoming with an ankle that was bent about 90 degrees the wrong way. She fell into an 8-foot trench. The impact caused her foot to nearly separate from her leg. While her boyfriend went to get help, she made this video diary. Today, she talked about the pain.
I think it kind of just was so quick and so intense that I didn't comprehend all of it until I started getting up. I was scared, but I wasn't freaking out scared. I was calm scared.
Lexi's video diary has been viewed on YouTube 250,000 times. A burglar made a big mistake when he broke into LL Cool J's Los Angeles home. He got a good old Queens beatdown. The rapper and star of NCIS LA woke up around 1 a.m. to find an intruder in his house. LL did not wait for the LAPD. The 44-year-old rapper, actor, and mixed martial artist took matters into his own hands. The intruder is bruised up with a broken nose and jaw. LL says he was protecting his family. In other words, Mama said, knock him out. That brings us to number 11. At 11 is weather. Let's get over to Mr. G at the weather wall. G.
About 5 good days in a row and around the tri-state area. Tomorrow we're going to make it 6, and then we're going to head into the weekend. So let's talk about it. First of all, we're in the mid-70s right now. The split this time of year, Jody, should be 82 and 67. We're going north to Poughkeepsie, Montgomery, and White Plains, tad cooler. You're getting away from the heat of the city's concrete canyon. 75 degrees out in coastal Connecticut. Look at the Hamptons, man. East Hampton in at 63 degrees. Big parties over the weekend coming. You know, they have all these fundraisers, charitable cases and causes. That's good. And this is our deal here in the tropics, okay? That is going to be Hurricane Isaac. You can see Friday at about 2 p.m. Top winds of about 80 miles per hour. We left it right there. We want to have a little drama as it approaches southern Florida for the convention, Republican convention on Monday. So we got a hurricane, we got a convention, we got action popping.
Is there a political storm brewing?
Oh, we don't rehearse this. We do not.
Though we probably should most nights. Anyway, weather wraps up your PIX 11 at 10. We'll be right back.
Next, swept to sea.
We all have to learn to live differently, and we just don't want any other families to go through this.
Flawed furniture.
We've got a huge problem here. I can't accept this. We've got a huge hole in the chair, and we've got several holes in the sofa. I can't accept this.
Dog Day anniversary.
Everybody was going crazy. There was people all over the place, gay people with the ducks.